Hello, I'm Julie Thibaud-Dury, Closiist Corner. I met so much incredible green people in New York City that I decided to make a sustainable guide, Green for Blue. With Closiist, our sustainable marketplace, I already helped people to buy sustainable, but it's not enough. Hi, Seana.
Hi, Julie.
I'm so happy to see you today because for the fun story, we have to reschedule, I think, maybe 4 times.
Something like that, yes. That's quite a lot.
Because our appointment was always with a rainy day.
Yeah.
And today we are lucky because it's a sunny day.
It's a beautiful day today, yes.
Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Seana Steele, aka the alien Mermaid Barbie. And I am a model, visual artist, and I am wanting to use my voice more and talk about how this planet is very different from mine.
Yeah, and it's why I would like to interview you, because you are an artist and you help us about sustainability in New York.
Yes.
And when did you start to take an interest about sustainability?
I would say probably in my early 20s. In my early 20s, I started becoming more aware, but it was a slow process. I started mainly being interested in organic foods because I had been vegan already for a few years, and then I started realizing more about harmful chemicals that were being put on the food, toxic ingredients that are in our beauty products and our cleaning products and all these sorts of things.
Yes, and there's a lot.
A lot, yes, quite a lot.
If I make a comparison with Europe and here, it's definitely not the same thing.
Yeah.
In Europe, we have a lot of toxic products that are forbidden in a bottle, but here it's sometimes you can use to make makeup, but it's forbidden for other things.
Yes.
Don't make sense.
But even with makeup, I recently learned, well, a few years ago, that I don't remember the numbers, but the amount of chemicals that are allowed in cosmetics in the US versus the amount that are allowed in Europe is very different. There are a lot more that are not allowed in Europe that are allowed in the US.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
And what is for you, I think that I already have the answer, but what's the most important thing in sustainability?
What about sustainability?
Yes, what's the most thing that you study on that is very important for you about sustainability?
So for me, it's something that is part of many aspects of my life, and it's something that I've just made part of my daily routine. I always carry around a water bottle with me. I always recycle. I bring reusable shopping bags. Those little things make a big difference because water bottles alone make they make up a huge part of what is wasted and what ends up going to landfills, as well as clothing. I have a secondhand clothing store. So many people buy a garment and they only use it once, and then they just throw it away, and it ends up in a landfill, and it causes massive problems. So it's those little things that just add up, and I approach it from a standpoint of care, and I don't feel like I'm giving anything up because, I mean, hello, I'm fabulous still. And a lot of people feel like living a sustainable life means that you have to make sacrifice, and it's just, I choose to see it as rather reprioritizing things.
It's very interesting because it's true, we need to think in a different way.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be sustainable, but to explain that to the people, we need to have something to, I don't know the word in English for that, but to say, oh, stop and listen to it.
Yeah.
We can think in the other way, and sustainability is not only living on a farm, or it can be a different topics, different things.
For sure. And a lot of people feel that it means that it's going to be super expensive because there is that aspect of it. There is this aspect of it that's not necessarily as accessible, but there are ways to go about it in which you actually can save money, such as using reusable bags, shopping at the bulk section in a grocery store, bringing your own packaging, because when you shop at the bulk section, say for instance you're getting like dry beans, rice, whatnot, you save money by not having to pay for that outer packaging. And thrifting, you're saving money. You can get a garment that may have only been used once, may even have the tags on it still, and you're going to be paying a lot less money. Sure, a lot of the new items in the sustainability realm can be more expensive, but if budgeting is an issue, there are ways to go about it. And it's important to me also to make this fun and to not have it be this serious thing, because that's the other aspect of it. Like, yes, there are dire facts sometimes about our environment and whatnot, but if we keep putting the energy in those negative things, we're going to be bombarded and we're going to feel like it's too heavy and we can't do it. But if we instead look at it as like, hey, we live on this beautiful planet, we all can do our part to make the world a better place, then it shifts the energy and it makes it easier for you to make the effort, and also not feel like you have to be perfect either, because there are all things that we do that aren't perfectly sustainable, but we just have to do our best.
Yes, totally agree with you. And what are you wearing today?
So a lot of it is stuff that I've literally had these gloves for over probably 15 years. They've just been sitting in my closet. But the star pieces, I am wearing a beautiful chiffon gown from sustainable brand Haruka Ver. They are based in the Netherlands. And then my heels are a New York City-based brand, Autumn, and they are a vegan, sustainable shoe wear brand. These are actually made from the waste product of making wine. So, and it's like, they're beautiful, they look just like leather. And that's what I love too. Sustainability is reaching this point where a lot of times vegan things aren't necessarily sustainable because they're made of plastics, but we're coming up with these new biological, plant-based leathers that are really amazing. And I mean, these admittedly were a little stiff when I first got them, but they easily broke in. I mean, the same as a lot of leather shoes. So I am really excited to see the way that sustainable fashion is developing, and as you can see, you can still be glamorous, because a lot of people have this notion too that sustainable fashion is very casual, very earthy and hippie, and it doesn't have to be. It can be glamorous too.
And when you start to buy sustainable, that's I love it's the story behind the product, because often, like you said, it's made with different materials, and you need to learn about these new materials, and the people who create the product are passionate, and they give you this passion when you buy the product.
Yes, for sure.
And
for
it's like a treasure.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I love that. Yeah. And what message do you want to say to the New Yorker who listen to us?
So I just want to touch again back on the fact that don't feel like you're taking on everything. Do your part with the little actions that you can. What you feel you can do now, do it. Don't keep delaying it. But also, as you go, make more and more conscious decisions. If you can, carry around the water bottle, carry around the shopping bag. If you feel like you can't afford to buy those new things, then start with thrifting. And also, I think that it's important to get out of this mindset of mass consumerism, because and I've been guilty of it myself, but we live in a world where we feel like we have to have more, and learn to rotate and style the pieces that you have in different ways. You don't have to buy 50 pieces. You can have a few nicer pieces and save up for those nicer pieces, and then supplement them with the thrifted pieces. And also, if you're done with something and you want to get something new and you don't necessarily have the budget for it, sell it. I mean, there are online platforms. If you have things in really good condition, you can sell it and keep that cycle going.
Yes, totally. And it's so easier now.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think it's important to forget to buy all the same items in all the same colors and all different colors. Because when you buy sustainable or reusable or second hand, you can play with your clothes.
Yes,
with
absolutely.
Different colors, and it's so better.
yeah. And I found some really amazing pieces thrifting too, really. Yeah.
What's your favorite shop to buy your clothes?
I mean, that's a good question. I really like ThredUp. ThredUp is a secondhand online shop because they have a huge array of clothing, and so you can go even look for brands that you like that maybe aren't sustainable, but getting it secondhand, you're at least making a better choice. And I really like that. And then I love Peru Beard, of course. I've worked with them before, and like they have amazing clothing. So yeah, I would say ThredUp and just local thrift shops. I've shopped at Goodwill before many times.
And you have a shop too?
Yes, I do. So of course, if you would like to patronize my shop, I sell on eBay. My eBay shop is The Reinvented Wardrobe. I started it many years ago when I left a conventional career path. Well, it wasn't even a career path, it was a job. I worked at a supplement company and I wanted to pursue artistry. And so someone suggested that I sell online because I knew a lot about fashion as it was. So I would source my clothing from getting secondhand clothing in bulk, and then just be able to describe the clothing based on my knowledge, suggest styling tips and whatnot. So yes, feel free to check out my eBay store.
We will make the link behind the video.
Yes.
And do you have something to add that I forget to ask you, but it's important to say?
Let me see. Yeah, I think I've said most things, but again, just be gentle with yourself. Don't feel like you need to be a perfectionist, and have fun with it because life is meant to be enjoyed, and this is no exception to that. I want to move away from this narrative that our planet is being destroyed, because while we can't ignore the things that are happening to our planet, we can take action in everything that we do. And if we do that with love and compassion, then I think we're going to make a lot more impact than if we give into the fear.
Well, maybe I forget to ask you about vegan.
Yeah.
Are you started to be vegan for the planet, or it's more for the animals, or both?
I would say it primarily started for the animals, but it kind of became an all-encompassing thing. It initially started with, I first went vegetarian in high school, and I remember a classmate bringing a meat substitute sandwich to school. I could tell that it wasn't actual meat, and so I was asking her about it, and it just caused the light bulb in my head to go off. Like, I